Allison.
Lauren.
Hello.
Hi.
We are back to recap this time Season 8, Episode 9, The No Bang Theory, which is a funny little title.
Yes.
So every couple was in. It was a very busy 2 hours.
Yes, it was.
Usually I can find things that should get cut. I couldn't think of anything that they could have cut. So
it was
I like that. So we're gonna jump right in.
Okay.
First couple, Brandon and Julia.
All right.
And as usual, we've got Brandon on the family and we've got Brandon with Julia, and he's kind of playing both sides. So he starts out with the parents. And I like his strategy. His strategy is, I'll just blame these animals. As I don't have to blame you guys, even though you guys are the terrible ones. I'm going to blame the animals.
Oh, the poor animals. Yeah, he definitely didn't take any sort of accountability for his parents' behavior. And while it's not his behavior necessarily, I do think that he has kind of subjected her to the crazy that is Betty and Ron, and there is some accountability needed there.
Yeah, so when he finally does say one criticism about Betty, we get this odd, non-crying, whiny voice. It was tough. It reminded me of that video we had to do, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yes. Very good performance, by the way. I was very impressed.
Oh, that was funny.
Yes,
so she's crying, and then we come to find out, and I'm convinced that Ron, he's got dead bodies in the basement. That was aggressive.
So Ron, I was thinking about that whole scenario. So for those that may have not seen it, they're in a restaurant. Betty and Ron are sitting next to each other. Brandon's trying to convince them that maybe the living situation isn't the right thing for him and Julia, and they're going to go move into an apartment because that's what Julia has asked him to do, or else she's going to go back to Russia. And Ron's on the edge. He hasn't gotten his chicken wings at the Mexican restaurant yet. He has his drink, but he is a loose cannon. And I think the mother was using the sharing the bedrooms as what she called a bargaining chip, or maybe he called it a bargaining chip, which was so strange. Anyway, so Ron started to get really upset about this. And he started saying to Betty, no.
And he was leaning forward. No. It was very, I was like, oh man, he's going to launch across the table or something. And she's saying she has these dreams of them all living there forever. That's very strange.
Yeah, no. So first of all, Betty is not your dog, Ron. So as much as I don't like Betty, he was talking to her I hear people say stop or no to their dog.
Yes.
She's not a dog.
Correct.
She's a person with an opinion, and she's very emotional, even though she's completely irrational. But you know what the other thing was too that I thought was really funny? She's going, Ron. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched Jersey Shore, but Sammy and Ronnie, all I could think about was Ron, stop. when they're beating each other up all the time. Anyway,
yeah, because they're Virginia, so they probably have a similar accent.
It was
very from that area.
It was very eerily similar. But I think that the thing to really remember here is that your dream of owning a weird farm and whatever you're doing at that horrific looking house is not their dream. It is not. And to push that upon your child and the person that he's supposed to be marrying is not fair. Don't you raise your you have children, I have children, don't you raise your kids to go out and be productive people in society? And aren't you proud when that happens?
Yes.
You want to keep him there forever and not have him advance himself?
There is a weird almost keep him a child syndrome, it seems, with the names on the doors with the chalkboards. It's very that's for a 6-year-old. This guy's 27. Mm-hmm. So there's a problem. There's a problem there.
Time to get out.
Their next scene is Brandon meets up with Julia at a pool hall. This girl loves the dingy pool hall like she's at a nice place. It was odd.
Yeah.
She's like, I love it here. I love people.
I
All
would
right.
love
I
it
mean,
anywhere where I was out
just
of
get
that
me out of here.
house. I would love it anywhere where Ron and Betty were not. Like, let's face it,
True.
the girl can't do anything. She can't get in the hot tub with clothes on. She can't sleep. She can't go in Brandon's room. She can't go in the kitchen. Like, what do they want? What do they
With the
expect?
cricket.
I wouldn't want to be there either.
So he gets her this big blue-green drink, and she has it on the edge of the pool table. I had so much anxiety looking at that drink on the edge of the pool table that I was fixated on it, though, because I'm like, can you please put it not on the, because she's, flailing the stick around while she's talking to him. Oy. So I found that interesting. And I have to think at the pace that we're at with these two, where they're still negotiating sleeping arrangements, how are they going to have a wedding? How are they going to get married?
I don't know. I mean, I think they will. Like, I do think like they are cute together when they are by themselves, and I think that they have a pretty good dynamic, and I do think that they're going to make it. But you're right. Like the second part of like the first part of the storyline, it was the main storyline of the show. It was like bam out the gate. Ron's talking to Betty like she's a puppy and whatever's happening here in this restaurant. And then it was like exactly like you said, it's like crawling along, like,
Yes.
okay, I guess we'll still live here. It's like, oh my God, like enough
I
with
have
it.
to wonder though, like if they when they do go out and live on their own, is Julie going to be happy?
I don't
She's
know. It's a good
basically going to be
question.
Natalie. She's going to be stuck in a house. He's going to have to work all the time. They aren't going to have a lot of means to do a lot of things. She's still going to be in the country. Yes, you're free from crazy
Mm.
parents and animals you don't like, but is it going to be happy? It's hard to say.
It is hard to say. It will be interesting to see what happens.
And they end it with the most uncomfortable sexual innuendo. Brandon puts on, oh God, it's like the opposite of sexy talk because he's trying to be all cute. He's like, oh, we'll do crossword puzzles in bed. And I mean, if that does it for her, I mean, I guess that's great. But it did the opposite for me. I was clenching. We'll put it that way.
It was funny that was like so exciting. Like if that's like what excites you, I think you need to reevaluate a little bit.
Yeah, and he's like raising his eyebrows and ugh, God, gross. Okay, so we'll move on to Mike and Natalie.
Yes.
Okay, my first notes. This is what I wrote. He hates her.
Yes.
That was what I wrote. He hates
Yes.
her. And you know what? I didn't really care for him this episode.
Really?
No, no. I
How
thought
come?
it was mean. I thought he was very
Oh.
mean. She wants to say a prayer at dinner and he has to sit
Yeah.
there and rub his temples. It's 30 seconds and you can't just be polite. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of patience for that. And he keeps saying to her, well, we need to figure things out. But they never seem to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I
They
don't
do
know.
not. So first of all, Mama Trish was still there at the beginning, right? And she has a little chat with Mike. And I feel like it was very contrived. Like the producers said to her, like, you have to say that
Yes.
she's there for the wrong intentions. I honestly do not like anybody who watches this show. I don't think Natalie is there for the wrong intentions at all. I think she is crazily, and I use that intentionally, in love with Mike, and she has this fairy tale in her head about what their relationship should be. I don't think of all the people on this show, she definitely does not have bad intentions. I really do think that she wants to be there with him, have kids, like live the life.
Yeah, I agree. I almost think she's like a perfectionist. So she's like, I've put my mind on this and it has to go the way that I'm envisioning it, no matter what the hurdles are. So she's very, very determined, that one.
Yes, she is. And you're right. Like, so I was a long time ago, like after college, I started dating one of my really good friends in college. And we had like really good chemistry, but we were like long distance. And so I went to spend like a weekend with him. And like there was still chemistry, but then when it kind of got romantic, it got really awkward. And like I got this feeling like, this just is not happening.
A little
I
better
had
as a
that feeling
fantasy.
the whole time I was watching this whole episode with Mike and Natalie. He is not into it. It's like I have this gut feeling. It's uncomfortable. Not the same discomfort as Steph and Ryan. We'll get to that, but
Yeah.
like I can feel it like coming out of his pores almost. And
Yeah.
she is like just so clueless, or she doesn't want to believe it,
Mhm.
to that there is actually like an issue here and he might not want to marry her.
Right.
And it is so obvious to me that he is just not into it at all. And she is way too into it. And it's going to be a
It's not
mess.
working. They get in the truck to go for a hike, and he says to her, he goes, "Oh, what's with your makeup today?" Now, okay, Mike, did you see her with her ITM makeup on, the Sugar Plum Fairy? Because I thought this was her best look. She had the hat on. She's very casual, a little lip gloss. I thought this is the best that she's looked since we've seen her. Well, she shuts down after he says that. She is just, and I get it. I understand that. He didn't need to say that. And he was very unkind to her. And I'm sorry, but his shirt did not fit, and he wasn't looking that great himself in the truck. The name of the show today could have been, "Excuse me, sir, your shirt doesn't fit," because we're going to get into another one later on, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But he looked awful in the truck. And I don't mind, like, a couple extra pounds on a man is
Not
fine
at
with
all.
me. I'd rather 10 pounds heavy than 10 pounds too light. But your shirt has to fit in order to pull that off, and that was not a good look by him.
I'm
No.
all about that dad bod, but yeah, no, he definitely needed the next size or two up. I mean, he's a big guy. Like, I don't,
Yes.
there's no, like, I don't understand why you're wearing this sweatshirt that looks like it got shrunk in the dryer.
Yes.
But no, the makeup thing. So, like, here's a tip to any man who's watching at this point. I don't know who we got, Dano and Ned, I see in the chat. If your woman wants to put on makeup to feel like pretty, don't tell her she doesn't need it or she doesn't look good or whatever. She feels good. It makes her feel good. Just, oh
This
yes,
is
and
true.
Justin, sorry. Just say she looks pretty and move on with your life. Don't comment about
Yeah.
her makeup unless there's something really embarrassing going on and like you're trying to save her from some strange situation.
Yes,
Like that's
smudged
acceptable.
eyeliner, yes, you can kinda go, "Hey, you get a little
Yeah, or
little
like,
too
you
nice."
got lipstick on your tooth or something like that. But
Yes,
anyway, so yeah, I thought she looked cute. I thought she looked very hike appropriate.
yes, me too. I thought it was her best look yet. So they get to the forest, and this was weird because she runs up to the tree and gives it a hug and a sniff. Now, part of me doesn't hate this because my favorite store in the world is like Lowe's. I love the smell of the lumber. So I'm like, okay,
Oh,
I can be on board with smelling the trees.
yes, you're
That's
speaking
fine.
my language here. My dad used to take
Oh,
me
I love the
to
smell of
when I was
Lowe's.
little, I used to go everywhere with my dad. And he worked in construction as well as being a firefighter and doing all these things. And I used to ride on the cart and we would go to like the lumber yard or whatever store. My favorite smells, my friend's getting a condo built right now, and I like to go with her to visit just to smell the construction because it's like
Oh,
wood and
it's new
paint and
paint.
glue, all the things that are probably going to give me cancer. But yes, I
Yes.
agree.
No, I'm with you on that. So I didn't have a problem with the tree sniffing, but like she lives in the forest. So like if
And
you're
she
bored at
hates
home,
it.
go out there every day and, help
All she's
yourself.
done is complain about being in the wood and
Right.
now she's sniffing trees. I was so like, what is
It's
happening? First of
confusing.
all, that was weird. Like she's a little dramatic, I think. She's very childish and childlike, and then she skips over, and there's something about her that it's a little off, and I can't really put my finger on what it is, but like she's almost immature, for her age and just sort of the way she carries herself. Smells was a big thing in this episode. I don't know if you noticed this, but before they went or maybe she was putting her clothes in the closet, it was before they went out. She
Mhm.
was sniffing this like bag in the living room, and then she's sniffing the tree, and then they go to the store and she's sniffing like whatever and like the closet and like what
She's
is with the
obsessed
smells?
with the smell of the closet.
Yeah,
So
how
that
bad can
brings
it
us
be?
how bad can it be? So that brings us to they go to, I mean, this is the store of my nightmares. Like I hate knickknacks. Ugh, oh God. So they go to this store with all this crap, basically. Now the shop lady, talk about a contrived conversation.
Yes.
She, oh, it's so uncomfortable. She's like, oh, Are you from here? Okay, obviously she's not from here because of the accent. And then she actually asked, like, oh, well, is he helping you plan the wedding? Have you ever had a conversation like that with a store person?
No.
No. And like, don't talk to me. And it's so uncomfortable.
Just let me shop.
Just leave me alone. Yes.
I'm fine, thank you. I don't need help. Bye. Leave me alone.
And this part I found so funny. Natalie like picks up this dish towel and she's like, we need this for our wedding. I really think she would have grabbed anything just as a prop, just to bring up the wedding. Like she would have found a salt shaker and been like, we need this just to bring up the wedding.
Yes.
And you didn't think he was rude here?
I mean, she did, okay, but she went for the baby carriage too. So like,
I know.
Let's rein it in a little bit, Natalie.
A little much,
still don't have the ring.
I don't know.
You said his closet smells 65 times on national TV. Like,
right.
I'm Team Mike. I am not Team Natalie.
No, I agree. I guess neither one of them really were doing it for me this episode. They were both, neither of them are meeting each other in the middle. It looks like they go to counseling next week. So I'm excited. I think they definitely need it.
Yes.
So that was them. We're going to move on to Yara and Jovi.
Oh boy.
Okay. Have you seen the movie Pretty Woman?
Yes, I have.
With Julia Roberts.
Yes.
You know when she goes to the opera and she wears the off-the-shoulder red gown?
Yes.
Yara wears this blue, like, opera dress in her ITMs. Do you see that?
I didn't even notice what she was.
Did you notice it?
Yeah. Is that terrible?
I'm like, why is she wearing a ball gown? I mean, that's great, but I find that interesting.
She's very fashion forward. She also had the coat.
A lot into that.
She had the coat on her shoulders again this week, I noticed.
Yeah, it's got to be pinned on. It's like that in her photo as well. So
I'm gonna try to walk around like jackets. That. Yeah.
Let me know how that goes. 12 steps is my guess.
Yeah.
So she wants to get the henna tattoo. Now I'm going to tell you, this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought the lady doing the henna tattoo was going to like rattle off all this stuff and be like, well, you can't have this. Are you pregnant? And it was going to be like now I have to tell him. No, that didn't happen.
Well, it was funny because I was thinking to myself, like, can you do that when you're pregnant? Like, what is the ink?
See, I did too. Yeah. I thought the same thing. But no, they did not ask. Like, I don't get my nails done because I can't handle the face-to-face sitting across from somebody. Like,
oh, really?
I can't do it. Yeah, no. So she's stuck there. They're face-to-face with the henna artist, and she decides right then and there, turns to him. Guess what? I'm pregnant. And the henna lady's doing exactly what I do. Like if I hear an interesting conversation in the grocery store and I'm kind of like lean forward, raise my eyebrow a little, and I'm listening. She was interested.
She did a perfect eyebrow raise. Yeah.
It was perfect. I know. I wish I could do that. What did you think of his reaction?
So I am not a big Jovi fan. I think he has issues he needs to resolve. AKA, it's pretty normal for me to get off a plane at 8:00 in the morning and have a drink in my hand and be drunk because whatever. Like, okay. I thought it was extremely insensitive, his response to her, which was, I don't believe you. And it wasn't I don't believe you. It was, no way. I don't believe you. Like, bro. I was like, really, dude? So whether or not you believe her, like, just pretend, and I mean, like, what a jerk. Like, it's okay. And then he says, it's okay. It's no big deal if you are. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's kind of a life changer.
Put that last on your list to say to anybody who is pregnant, because it is not, I mean, it's hormones and whatever, that early phase are a little crazy.
Yes, for sure.
I cried when Santa Claus came down our street and I was like 6 weeks pregnant. I don't know why. I was overcome. Santa Claus came down our street.
Hey, it's emotional, right?
Yes.
Santa. It's an
Yes.
important guy.
Yes.
So they go back to the apartment. Okay, I have a question. How many pregnancy tests do you have on hand in your apartment or your home?
It's a good question. I did have a couple.
Sure, you
And
had a stash.
yeah, and I just recently am not pregnant anymore, so I guess I
There you
should
go.
stash up. So the answer right now is 0.
Yeah, I was very surprised at how many they had, especially different brands. They didn't like buy the, 10-pack of one kind. They had different kinds.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, but there is zero reason he needs to be in the bathroom and witness her taking a pregnancy test.
What was she going to do? Like whip out like some contraband
Urine?
pee? Like where would she have even gotten that on like short notice? And like he wouldn't have known. Like who
I
would
know.
do this?
I know.
What's wrong with him?
He demands to witness the test being taken. Now, the first test, did you notice hey, I get it. You have to pee on the stick and it's messy. But she runs the entire thing under the water. And then they're like, "Oh, well, there's no lines on this pregnancy test." Well, it's because you just ran it under the faucet.
Right. You can't do that.
Yeah,
Although,
you
like,
can't
I
do
will
that.
say if you are pregnant, it's pretty quick. Like both lines show up
Yeah.
pretty quickly. And like, I could kind of, I felt like I could see a faint second line. Like, and no matter how faint it is, it's a second line. Like,
It's
there.
legit.
Yeah.
Right. So he doesn't believe the first pregnancy test because it's not crystal clear because it ran under the faucet, is my theory. Makes her do it again, demands to stand there and watch her take another. He doesn't bother me that much. This bothered me. And my response to that would have been like, "Nope, you can wait outside. Thank you."
Like,
Yeah,
what?
I don't
I don't
understand.
understand. I don't understand what he thought was going to happen. Like, how do you just,
I
you
don't
can't
either.
just like make it turn pregnant because you want to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange.
Very strange.
I didn't have much else on them other than a few times now we've heard her mention that she wants him to change jobs, which I find strange. You knew what you were coming into.
Yeah, I think it's different when you live with someone, right? And you live with that, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk about it and not be face to face with someone every day and have like a very long distance relationship going on. And then all of a sudden thinking it's fine and then going there and feeling very alone and like having all those feelings, you think maybe you can handle it. And then you get there and you realize maybe I don't like being alone this much,
Right.
Yeah, but I think,
so. It's that.
well, I think he's a jerk and I think she should have gone home and not been pregnant, but you can't do that. So
I mean, they didn't waste any time. What were they? 6 weeks into? Wow.
yeah.
That came on quick.
Yeah, and they were worried about Julia. I mean, sounds like Yara needed the talk from
She's
Betty.
managing, right? Well, when you live with the parents,
Sure.
it's a birth control form of its own.
That's yes, especially them. Yes.
Good Lord. So we'll go on to Stephanie and Ryan. This is my current I find them the most interesting. They're bringing it the most with the content. I'm fascinated. It's a disaster, but I find it very interesting. Okay. If you wanted to ask me what my idea of torture would be, it would be to apply deep conditioner to someone's hair and just sit there and rub on it for like however long they were in that bed because I was dying. Oh God.
Okay. So Ryan doesn't move the entire time, like from his position. He's just in bed with that like furry thing, like whatever that is. I'm like, what is this even?
Neck warmer, I think.
Was it?
I think so.
So weird. Anyway, he's like folding and unfolding it and like putting it by his thing. But I was like, okay, enough with like the leopard thing that you're touching that has fur on it.
But no, he's staring at the ceiling thinking like, did I take the steak out of the freezer or do I still need to do that? He
just gives zero fucks. Like he's just laying there. Like as she has this breakdown, She is like his
Mhm.
mother, and it is so uncomfortable to watch. Like I did my like I
Yes.
I feel like if the situation was reversed and if it was a man and a girl who was 27 or a woman who was 27 years old, we would be like like this is not okay. Like it is not okay.
Yes.
It is
We
not
need to save her.
okay. Like and also again with like the Mike and Natalie situation, Ryan is not into her at all. I mean, there is just nothing there.
Well
Period. Like he
well,
does not care. He just wants her money and goods.
but could it be because he already knows about the infidelity?
Yeah, so
Could
that
that
was a
have
big
turned him off?
bombshell. That was a big bombshell. So there is a lot to wade through here. I think my main takeaways were I wrote down 3 times OMG, OMG, OMG. So we start the scene with her wondering why they did not bang the
Yes.
night before. Quote, even if you banged me for 2 to 3 minutes, it would have been for bonding.
Bonding, bonding. I mean, literally,
Also,
maybe, but
I wasn't expecting a magic show. It's always been 4 times a night.
hour-long sessions. So you're telling me every session is an hour, 4 times? Who has
That
that
sounds
kind of time?
terrible, first of all.
Yeah, right.
Sounds
No,
awful.
I agree. So she's very concerned. They didn't have sex the first night they were at the resort, and he couldn't care less. He's staring at the ceiling, playing with the neck warmer.
He just sits
And
there. He doesn't move.
she starts what I would consider gaslighting him.
Yes.
Because basically what she's setting up here is she's trying to say, like, I slept with your cousin, but it's your fault.
Yes.
And you can
Yes.
apologize to me now because I slept with your cousin. It doesn't make
Yes.
any sense. And, he's
You
basically
forced
like,
me to.
come on, tell me, and, I mean, I called it. I said last week, I think he already knows. He already knows. So usually in this situation, when there's an infidelity, I would say leave the third party person. It's between you two. But this is a relative, so I am okay with him doing equal part blame. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know.
You think it's her all on her?
I don't think it's all on her. I don't know how I feel about it because the whole thing is just so ridiculous to begin with. It's like I can't take it seriously. It's like
Right.
it's just so ridiculous. Like, did this really happen? Like, or did you make this up? Because
Well, you hear her say, well, he started complimenting me all the time. He called me every day. So this
yeah,
wasn't like a impulsive, crime of passion or what have you. Like, I'm mad at him right
yeah.
now, so I'm going to do this as a revenge move. This sounded like it was a long-term thing in the making, is
I mean,
how I understood it.
I did hear her say it was so long since you made me feel special.
Oh God,
And
I
and
wanted
I
to throw up. That is,
yeah, and you know, I just I feel like it says a lot about Stephanie that we kind of already know. I think she's an extremely insecure woman.
Mhm.
She has a lot of things and she's accomplished a lot, but she doesn't feel good about herself at all. Like you can take all the Botox, you can take whatever she slathers onto herself and all the
Neon
pictures that she has
goggles.
of herself in her home.
Yes.
She does not feel good about herself, and having the 27-year-old boyfriend, makes her feel great about herself.
Yeah,
John,
yeah,
John in the comments says he has to earn those watches, and then he says, "Why would this be his fault? She's a nutbag."
mm,
Fair point, John.
yeah,
Fair
I
point.
agree. So she just, it really bothered me, and I'm a big believer in, because apparently she caught him sending some messages, right?
Right.
If you decide, if you find that out and you decide you're going to stay with the person who is sending those messages, you have to leave it at that time. You cannot just drag it on for 4 years and say, "Oh, but those text messages. Oh, but those text." You either are going to move on
Let it
and
go.
accept it, or you're going to say, look, this relationship can't work for me because of these text messages. You can't just constantly bring that up as your, ace up your sleeve or what have you. So
No,
it just
she needs to
bothers
let it
me.
go.
Yeah. They're just not going to work out.
Well, he forgives her because he wants more stuff. Like there's no way. I'm sorry, there is no way that he is not sleeping with other people for 10 months away from her. No, there is she is dumb. She is stupid. Like no. I cannot stand like ugh,
now
I cannot stand
part
that.
of me wonders, why are they on this show? Because they're A, not engaged, and B, not in America.
That is true. That is true. It's very like,
Shouldn't they should be on the other way?
Before the 90 days, I think. Not the other way because she's not going there to live there, right?
No, I thought sometimes though they go kind of as a little test run, so to speak.
Maybe
I don't
because
know.
was Angela? Oh, I can't keep it all straight, but like was she was on a bunch of different ones. She might have been on the other way at some point, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's been on all of them.
Yeah,
except the regular one, because Michael has never been to America, correct?
Nope.
He still has not made it. Interesting.
Nope. And it's her right.
So yeah, no magic show, no 2 or 3 minute banging, unfortunately.
That's it's so gross. I can't.
While she's playing with his hair.
Oh,
gross.
I can't.
So we will move on then to my least favorite people, and like, can we be done here? Andrew and Amira.
I was thinking of you because there was a lot of French happening in this episode.
Okay.
So
all right. I watched this episode 3 times, and every time she had that conversation with her friend,
Xavier.
I mean, I can kind of tell you what they're talking, like they're having the heart to heart, and you know what she needs to stop doing is complaining to all her family and friends about him and say something to him, because she's not doing that.
She's definitely a different person when she speaks to him on the phone. I noticed that too. And like, there's this, the way she was holding her phone and the way she kept like kind of like positioning herself, I thought was very interesting. Like, Amira, you hold the cards here. You're beautiful. Like, you have the best hair I've ever seen. Andrew is no, like he is not all that. Like, he is treating you terribly. Like, you hold the cards here. Like, you do not need to please him for any reason. So Andrew's still in Mexico. Like, I was like, Andrew is still in Mexico. Like, is this a joke, right?
Yeah.
He's out there, he's enjoying the rays and then catching some vitamin D. And the poor thing, like meanwhile, Amira is like in therapy because she was in a Mexican detention center because of your ass. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are we doing here? I don't know.
Is the epitome of like can't quite read the room. It's embarrassing. I can't believe how horrible. Yeah, he's all very animated, which normally it wouldn't bother me, but it's like, okay, come on. She's trying to tell you like I can't sleep over what I've been through this past week, and he's like, oh, you want a view of the beach? And showing her on the phone.
Ooh, let me take a sip of my margarita. Like, what is wrong with you? Well, and clearly he doesn't get it because his big bright idea is to meet up in Serbia. Okay.
Serbia.
Now, and I'm sure. Go ahead.
And he keeps saying we. No, there is no we, because he will not be going to Serbia. He wants her to do it all herself. So I'd be like, enough with the we, and how about you just say, well, you're just going to carry the load here for all of this, and I'll wait at home for you.
So a few things here. So one, Serbia is like, I looked it up because I looked up, well, I know the general area of where it is, but I looked up the US travel advisories to see if it's a safe place to even go, because I think there's a lot of conflict. And one of the warnings on it, so no, it is not a safe place to go. And no, the US does not recommend that Americans go there, because it is quite, I wish I wrote this down. It is quite common, it said, in the daytime for there to be bombings and assassinations. I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. Let's send our girlfriend there. Like, dummy. And like, I don't know. I think this is just not going to work out at all. Like, she should not go there. Her friend Xavier was very correct in saying that he does not care about her. It is borderline abusive. And why should she have to go like, why would you ever send somebody you love to some place that has high coronavirus, as she says, is not a safe place to be, it seems, according to the US government. Who knows if that's true or not. And like, you know what happened to her last time. Why would you want to subject the person you love to that ever again?
Yeah, I don't know. You would think that with a pandemic, you could get an extension on your visa. I mean, I
was gonna
don't
say that.
know this, but he's in such a panic over the time limit, and it's like, well, bigger picture here. How about, the woman you allegedly love not getting killed, maybe being more important. And it's not like, this is going to sound horrible, but it's not like he's really good looking guy that's an asshole. He's gross and he's an asshole. So I don't understand, the chart where it's like, if you're this crazy, you can be this good looking. He doesn't meet anything. It's all one way. It's really, really bad. It's really bad.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
He's the worst.
Terrible. She needs to be done. She could do so much better. If anybody ever first of all, I wouldn't have done that. But if anybody put me in that situation and was willing to do it again, absolutely not. Run, Amira. Go somewhere. Find a nice man who appreciates your beautiful hair and is not going to send you into some conflict zone so his visa doesn't expire because he's too stupid to call anybody to figure out if they can get an extension on it. And clearly that's the case, because when she was in Mexican detention, he couldn't use his brain enough to go talk to somebody who speaks the language to help her.
He never left the room.
Sat there like a moron.
Zip lining or, whatever else. Yeah, it's so bad. So
it's
bad.
Infuriating.
He might be one of the most universally hated characters we've seen in this show. I don't think anyone likes him. So
no,
which
is
terrible.
Correct.
He's terrible. So Rebecca and Zayed, we did not see them last week, and this week made up for that because I enjoyed it. So basically, the day starts with Zayed wakes up on his cot in the corner on the floor, and I am convinced, you cannot convince me, he is wearing Rebecca's shirt. It has to be. It's 15 sizes too small.
He has a really bad habit of wearing things that are too small for him too, though. He has had a glow up, I will say. He does. Yes. He has definitely lost some weight, and he looks like his hair looks good and whatever. But he's always wearing clothes that are way too small for him. Somebody needs to have a chat with him. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I was very distracted by the shirt, but I have to move on. But please.
John says he's already comfortable in the relationship.
Yes, he's let himself go. It's been one day.
Oh man. These are good comments.
In comes the worst person I've ever met in my life, Melanie.
Yes.
She is so awful. And I'm a pretty passive person. Like, I won't speak up if it's like, oh, yeah, shrug. I can shrug things off. Rebecca not telling her to, like, you know what, you need to leave, lady. She was so awful. He struggles with his words. So she asks him a question and he didn't answer it immediately. And she's like looking at him and she repeats herself. And you know what? He's probably the nicest person on this show.
He really is. I think he's very sweet.
Yes. Yeah. And she's like, well, what did you do today? He's been here for one day. One day.
What is he supposed to do? He can't work.
You know what she should do? Let's be honest. Like, get him a gym membership.
Yeah, or
that would be the best
get the boxes out of storage and have him unpack something while she's at work all day, so that there's actually a place to sit in the apartment, and not just a shopping cart.
Decorated and all this stuff with his face on it, like the big blanket.
You know what I forgot to mention last week? Stephanie and Ryan, she had a face mask with their picture on it on the plane. And I was like, you are giving Rebecca a run for her money.
Now, is it a picture of Rebecca or
No,
Photoshop.
it was Stephanie and Ryan. It was Stephanie and Ryan.
Oh, gotcha.
She's on the plane and she's got this mask on with Stephanie and Ryan. And I was like, oh my God.
Okay, so we're on episode 9. Now, this guy that she was married to, is his name actually my ex that lived in Morocco? Like,
I
do they
think
have protection against saying his name?
I think so. I think you're
Because that's
absolutely
how she always says it, my ex that lived in Morocco.
yes.
Very strange.
Yes.
So, okay, I wanna do a make pretend, okay?
Okay.
Pretend you live in that apartment building.
Okay.
And pretend Rebecca and her ex that live in Morocco lived there across the
Okay.
hall. Now you see Rebecca and Zayed. Would you approach Zayed and be like, "Oh, I see you're a different man than who she used to have down the hall. Have you ever spoke to your neighbors like this?"
No,
I don't understand the panic about the apartment. I don't
I don't
understand.
either. I think it's just like an element that they had to throw in because there was nothing else to throw in there. Like, who cares? Like, he's not there now, and it was just sort of like I felt really bad. So Rebecca's friend Melanie tells her like comes out with this, and I felt really bad for Rebecca. Rebecca just starts crying,
Yeah, it was
and
bad.
she's like questioning Zied, right? And like kind of comparing him, and I just felt like he's not the same person. Like exactly what Rebecca said. What's different? He's not the same person. And
Right.
maybe Rebecca just has a type, and that's
Yeah.
what she goes for. But they seem really happy together, and he hasn't done anything really wrong or anything to her. Like this woman needs to
She was so
butt
hot.
out and stop trying to be their mom and just like let them be happy,
Yeah. And I like Syed. He's kind of like lost in the conversation and he pauses and you can tell he's like deep in thought and then he just looks up and he just says, "Well, fuck everything." Now I agree with that. I think he's right. Yeah. Just you gotta go, lady, because she looks right at Rebecca. She's like, "You're okay with taking care of him?" Like it's not he can't work right now. He
And
can't
what
work.
does she care? She's not doing it. Who cares? Like
Yeah.
who cares? I'm sure Rebecca doesn't go to her house and she's like, "Oh, you're going to take care of him," or
Yeah.
like
Yeah. What did your guy do, that was nice today? Like
right. She's like the worst friend in the world, honestly. I mean,
she's
I'm not trying to
her and
compare you to
Sarah.
her ex, but I'm comparing you to her ex. Like, okay, cool. Nice
Her and
scarf.
Sarah
Like,
that told, Yara about how Jovi used to bang all the strippers.
well,
Her
I mean,
Melanie and Sarah are the 2 worst friends ever. They should get together. They'd get along well, just 2 hens gossiping. So did you have anything else on them?
I thought it was funny that when Melanie came in and met Ziad for the first time,
Mhm.
Rebecca was like, he always smells good.
Oh, she said that to her kids too. What is with
Like,
that?
okay,
You and
cool.
Natalie with the smelling. I mean, it's very, very
Just a
strange.
very strange thing to like point out to somebody who's just meeting somebody for the first time. I don't know, like, cool. I mean,
Here's my guy,
so
smell him. Like, I don't want to.
bad. I was like, okay. And his hair was incredible.
He was
To
working it. I said, "Oh, I think he's doing this on purpose." It took me I didn't know if it was bedhead or
No, it was awesome. It was great.
yeah.
Nope, that was it. That was it on them for me.
Yep.
I just
Okay.
like, why is Melanie being an asshole? But
Oh god, she's
that was the
terrible.
crux of it.
So, we are on to, again, another couple we didn't see last week, Tariq and Hazel,
Yeah.
and I don't love them, but, this was interesting. They show the setting is basically he brings 2 glasses of wine into the bedroom, it's looking really romantic, and then they pop open their laptop because they want to find a girlfriend. I was
For Hazel.
confused. I'm
Yes.
still confused.
What are you confused about?
Okay, they actually want a okay. When I think of popping open my laptop to look for a third party, I think of that as a temporary situation.
Okay.
They're not presenting this as a temporary situation. Would you
Oh
agree?
no. No, no, no. People do this, Lauren. Like you can have like a girl, it's like a polyamorous sort of situation. So you can have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever you might like, a steady one outside of or inside, or I don't know how it works because I've never done it before.
Some kid doesn't find out.
But no, I've heard of this. Like I know people who have done this. And
Right. What's it called? There's a word for it and I'm blanking on it, but a throuple. Yes, the throuple.
sure. Yeah.
Sure. Well, there's already
Justin, thank you. Justin knew.
The throuple.
Yes.
I knew. I forgot. There's already insane jealousy issues. Like my alarms are going off. This is, she's like, well, he messaged this other girl before and I don't like that. And he says the word, he goes, let's find someone hot. And she gives that eyebrow raise that the henna artist did. She kind of went, oh, you want someone hot, huh? It's like, I don't know what's going on now. I don't know what to make of all of this.
She has facial expressions that are almost as good as Rose's because she's like very quiet, but like her face, like her mood and emotion is written all over her face. She's one of those people that cannot hide her emotions because her face will always give it away.
So they're shopping. I don't know what to call it. They're browsing
They're creating a profile.
So he says to her, what is your type? And I found her type very interesting. I agree with this. She just says, I just don't want someone with bad breath.
Well, she had 3 requirements. I wrote them down because I was very amused by this. Number 1, hot girl. Number 2, not bad breath, which I found ironic because the person that they dated before, her name was Minty.
That's true. Yes.
And number 3, American, because American girls are hot, which I feel like could kind of go with number 1, but.
But she also says, I want someone to like me for real. That, yeah. I worry about this. I feel like that what she's looking for companionship, she says she wants a sister, a best friend, and a lover. I'm not sure you're going to find that in a classified ad.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so like to be just a little serious for a second, I feel like it's really sad to see, and I think I'm not ignorant to the fact that people don't really accept people's lifestyles or people who are gay or bisexual or whatever the case might be. Personally, it's like, whatever makes you happy. I feel like there's a lot worse things in the world than people loving each other and getting married and whatnot. And I feel like here it's very accepted. But we saw with, God, what was their names? In Mexico, it's not accepted. And poor Hazel is like, my sister kind of came out as bisexual in my country, and I saw how she was treated. And so I could never admit to that in my own country. But now I'm here and I can do this. And so, long way of saying, I feel like she's not really had a chance to kind of explore this side of herself because of the way she would have been treated or disowned by her family. Again, so sad. And maybe this is her way of going about that in a little bit more of a safe way, but maybe like she should have just gone about it and kind of cut Tariq out of the
or don't do it on national television. It's probably not.
Well, that too. And so I was thinking, like, how funny would it? Well, Tariq has been on for like a long time, and this was just this past year. So, like, imagine you're on this website and you come across Tariq and Hazel, and you're like, oh, damn.
Like, missed my chance.
Yeah, I can be on 90 with Beyonce too. I mean, I wonder if they wrote in there, like, you have to be open to being public or whatever the case might be. But can you imagine, like, tripping over that? Like, okay.
I felt like Tariq could not say like, oh, well, I would like to explore a person like this. Like he was very just like, okay, well, what do you want? And we'll just, which, is very kind, but they're not on the same page.
I don't think so at all. And like, I think she's thinking one way and he's thinking another way. And it's just, it's probably not going to work out very well.
No, and I was glad he was communicating. I think he was doing the right thing, and I don't know if it's because she's not one to open up, and she, like you said, she's very quiet. She's not saying I don't think they're thinking of the next step. So
I think that there's people that can handle situations like that. And I think
mhm.
there's people who cannot handle situations like
Yes,
that.
you
And
have
I
to
do
know
not
where you
think
are
that
before
she
you
can,
dive in.
I don't think she can share Tariq. I just don't think with the other situation, and they were
Yes.
with Minty for 2 days, and she thought that maybe Tariq liked Minty more than her.
Oh God.
It's not gonna go well.
Yeah, I know. I agree. So I found the conversation interesting. I found, I'm with you. No judgment. I hope that they think about exactly what they're pursuing, because it sounds like she wants a full-time second partner,
Yeah,
which is different than like, oh, let's find someone to, have some
that's
fun with.
complicated. Yeah.
Very complicated. So, okay, well, that's all of our couples. Did you have anything to add?
No, it was a lot. It was a
It was a,
lot.
was a
I was
lot.
like, this is still
Oh,
going
holy
on.
moly! I just looked at the time.
I know it was a lot of couples this week, to be
Yes.
fair. But yeah, no, it was a really good episode.
Yes.
There is no episode next week because it is the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
So we are going to have a little chat behind the scenes
Yes, we
and
are.
figure out what we're gonna do next week. We will be here, I
We'll
think.
find something fun to do. Yes.
Yeah. So no 90 day
No,
next week.
that's all right.
It'll be very sad, but we do have Tommy to watch, so we'll see how that goes. And
True.
I guess we will see what happens. But
All right. Well, for now, have a good night and goodbye.
you too. Thanks, Lauren.